That's in the back, so we'll get to that. But I believe I'm more about mindset, guys, than anything else. I know we're all into personal development space. I know that we're all into motivation. We're on Clubhouse. We're in rooms that are, everybody teaching us to write down things, write goals and all that. But we're here, and I really want us to get our mindset right about the reasons. That's when I came into this thing. I was like, you can get $1 million reason out of this. You can get an idea. Noah, you had an idea yesterday about what you're going to do with your events. Just coming to this place, feeding the deer. By the way, the deer were eating out of my hand this morning. It was amazing.
Yeah, so nice.
So if I can get deer to eat out of my hand, it's possible that I can get some people to eat out of my hand. If I have the right food, if they're hungry enough. Aaron won't. But when I saw that with just had the right food for the right animal, you offer your ebook, you offer your course, it's the right food. Now, if I was holding corn out to something that didn't like corn, it wouldn't come up to me. And if I wasn't, keep throwing it out to the right people. Now I've got one deer, which is something that dawned on me this morning. I got one deer coming up to me. And it was a buck, a little buck. It was willing to come up and eat out of my hand. It was amazing. But I was throwing the right food out to the right animal. And I was kept throwing it out. Kept throwing it out. Kept throwing it out. I'm like, come on. He finally came up and ate out of my hand. So the first part of this book here, the word entrepreneur rhymes with manure for a reason. And I wanted to give you all of that because you got to remember that. Why does it rhyme with manure for a reason? Well, it is a lot like manure because manure has a lot of crap in it. And it stinks from time to time. Being an entrepreneur will stink from time to time, guys. It's not, but here's the good news. Being an entrepreneur rhymes with manure because they both have the potential to make things grow. But there's no guarantees. Like I was talking last night about being a bamboo farmer. A bamboo farmer goes out to black dirt first 4 years. Maybe three stalks 3 feet high or something like that. But if you've never done bamboo before and you bought the farm because you've had a little experience working on the farm when you were 5 years old, but you know nothing about bamboo, and you come out and they tell you all the stuff you can do with bamboo. All the stuff you can do with bamboo. They just failed to mention that it's going to take 4 years. Has anybody ever had a kid?
Ever had what?
Anybody ever had a kid?
Kid?
Child?
Yes, of course.
Okay. When you first had them, have you had a child?
Not
After the old English?
I haven't birthed any,
Okay.
but I do have 2 sons.
Okay, so when they came home from the hospital, they just said, "I love you, Dad." First night. You heard the words, "I love you, Dad." First night.
No.
Second night then.
Nope.
Third night at least. They're giving back to you. They're mowing the lawn. Fourth night. Now you've got some.
I want to go to
people.
the school that your children went to. That's what my kids do.
It takes 4 to 5 years of investing in this child, and this child keeps taking your money. It takes 4 to 5 years. Now, why would I bring that up at a motivational or inspirational thing? I don't say it to scare you. I just say it to prepare you. There's going to be storms that come into your life, and these reasons will help make the difference in your life, because there are going to be days that it just don't work. Nobody's coming to you. You're not gaining your following. Your Instagram is stagnant. There's nothing happening. But that bamboo grows down 40 feet. It's growing. It's growing. When you set a goal that says, this is what I want, damn it, and you set that goal and you write it down and you start reading it out loud and you do the things that necessary and you cut into the grind, by the time you are done, guess what happens in that 4th year? All of a sudden the child comes up and out of nowhere says, Daddy, I want to be just like you. Mama, I love you. Little nephew comes up to you, 5 years old, and wraps his hands around your leg, wants to follow you around like a lost puppy. We've all experienced that. Makes us feel good. So that is what I want to get across today, especially when it comes to doing some stuff online. It isn't working, John. I'm not getting them doing my funnel. I'm not getting. You got to have enough reasons to get those reasons when you write it down. I know in the next 12 months I'm going to earn $300,000. Now, how do I know that? I just do. Now, what if I don't earn anything in the next 6? Is it a possibility that for the next 6 after that I could earn $50,000 a month? Is it a possibility? Yes. And see, when you know what you're worth, guys, when you know what you're worth, most people don't know what they're worth. They don't take it into account. This all plays into a part. Business is more psychological than it is anything. Business will get you out of bed in the morning when the alarm clock won't. When you want to hit the alarm down into that alarm clock, into the size of a pancake, you just want to just bust the alarm. It's because we don't have the reasons to get up in the morning.
I wanted to add something to this.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, reasons are extremely important, and I agree 100%. But there has to be integrity behind it, because integrity is putting the action behind what you say, you know? Because we can all say, oh, we want to do this and this and this, but if you're not taking the action behind that, the follow through is extremely important.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
There's a word called the law of attraction. We've all heard it, law of attraction. We were just talking about this morning. Wherever there's an attraction, though, guys, there's going to be a distraction. Whatever you're going to be attracting into your life, there's going to be distracting things to keep you from it. So that integrity is like having a belt. A belt will hold your pants up, just like a belt of integrity will hold your life up. But having that, figuring out, I've got to be willing to take the action. But if you have a big why, if the why is big enough, for instance, my wife and I, when we were married, she wanted to get married at the Botanical Center. Botanical Center is this big garden place up in Des Moines. She wanted to get married there. We got met on March 11th, 2001. We got married November 30th, 2001. The only reason we got married so soon is because that's when the Botanical Center was open. The only reason we didn't get married later because they weren't open till like 2012 or 2002. It was 2002. So we got married in 2001, 6 months after we met. Why? Because she was in love. And not so much with me. She was in love with the Christmas lights at the Botanical Center. It was her day. It was her day. It wasn't mine. It was my day to move the furniture. It was my day just to shut up. And this is how I learned it. She had a date in mind because she did not want to wait for another year. So she had a big enough reason. We got married. And when we started having issues with the caterers and the cake decorators, I said to her, why don't we just change the date? And she looked at me like I had an orange thrown out of my head. That was her day. I was messing with her. That was the Christmas lights at the Botanical Center. And I learned then it was just best to shut up. She could care less about the cake or the caterers. She wanted the Christmas lights at the Botanical Center. That's what she wanted. It's her reason. Otherwise, we would have had to wait for a whole another year. Well, at the time, we were youth directors at our church, trying to do the right thing here. It's gonna be a long time, so better get it done fast. And we were too old anyway. We were 30. We were in our 30s. We didn't want to wait. So she had a date in mind. She hung to the date. She had the reason. And guess what? It worked out. We got married 20 years ago. We're still married. She's a wonderful woman.
Congratulations.
All right. Wonderful woman. She's put up with a lot with me.
That reminds me of I had a friend of mine who got married, and his when the lady he got married to, she always wanted to have like almost like a Cinderella type wedding, and it was amazing. The carriage, the horse-drawn carriage came. It was like a glass carriage. You know, the whole thing was like a glass dome carriage. But she had saved her money up for this event. You know, all those years, and you know, she had the vision for her life, you know, to happen, and boom, it happened. It was great.
And if you got strong enough reasons, guys, when you're in love with something, if you get a big enough why, when you're in love, you will do crazy things. You'll open doors that you wouldn't before. I mean, there are times when we're just kind of ignorant sometimes. And there'll be people that we don't even know, and they'll be holding bags of groceries, and we've all done it. And we forget to open up the door for them. But boy, when I got together with Heather, every door. I mean, she'd walk up to the door. She'd just stand there. She'd stand there for an hour before I opened it. She wouldn't walk in. She expected something of me because I was in love. We were in love. I'd open up doors. If I was hauling in groceries, guess what? She would open up doors. She would open up doors she wouldn't before. When you're in love with something, you'll do things that are awkward, not a character. When you're in love, you will stay up late. You will talk on the phone. Hey boo, how are you? You'll send emails back. Where'd you head, man? Can't wait to see you again. Oh, here's my picture. Here's your picture right here. When you're in love, you'll do stuff. You'll do crazy things. So you got to be willing to do things that are awkward, not a character. As an entrepreneur, awkward, not a character. A lot of people say, "Well, I want to be an entrepreneur because I'm tired of working for anybody." I work for more people now than I've ever worked for when I was in a cubicle. All I got to do is show up, do the stuff you ask me to do, and leave at 5, and I don't have to worry about anything else. And I don't have to. Now I work for the government. Every quarter, got to send them their paycheck. Got to do the things necessary. I work for vineyards. I work for designers. I work for funnel builders. I work for Amazon Worldwide Servers. I work for I work for you. I work for my wife. I work for a lot more people than I did before. But I got enough reasons to keep moving forward. So your vehicle is also a lot like your business is a lot like a vehicle. So choose your vehicle and how do you want to travel. My brother Bill said, if you're going to be a road warrior, if you're going to be a cowboy, what kind of saddle should you have? What do you want? How do you want to get across the country? So pick your business right. And if your only reason, again, for because you don't want to work for someone else, it's the wrong reason. You have to have a big reason to be an entrepreneur. In the book Think and Grow Rich, one of my favorite books, there's a story about a young black gal. She's 8 years old. It was in the early 1900s, in a time where I didn't agree with things that happened in our country. But she lived on this plantation. One of the tenants of the plantation, one of the servants, was her mother. She walked into the mill of the plantation owner, and she hollered out, "Mama says she needs 50 cents. She screamed it out. And he said, "You run on home, tell her no," and that's it. That's final. Now, most of us, especially an 8-year-old girl, adult white male in a time where he could have harmed her. She took a step forward. She didn't take a step back. And she screamed out again. But Mama said she needs that 50 cents. And he said, you go home or I'm going to take a switch to you. Now that switch meant, it's a barrel stave. It was a metal rod. He could have. And he comes over to her to do just that. And then all of a sudden she stood forward and she stepped up and she said, but Mama said she needs that 50 cents.
Oh my God.
He reaches in his pocket, pulls out the 50-cent piece, drops that barrel stave, drops it in her hand, sits down on the bench. She backs out. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Runs on home. What strange power overcome that guy? What did she have over him that she overpowered an adult white male?
She believed in herself.
She have a reason?
Yeah.
What was her reason?
Her mama.
Who's your mama? Who's your mom? What is your reason? Because when it doesn't work out, we back out.
My daughter's like that. She doesn't give up.
Don't give up, guys. If you're tenacious, because she basically said, this little young girl, she said, you might as well kill me. Just kill me. Because I am not going home empty-handed. Because she saw in her mind's eye, she saw the disappointment on Mama's face. If she went home empty-handed, she saw that disappointment. So as we get going into things, even if you don't understand it and you don't have it all done and perfect this weekend, guess what? If your reason is big enough, it will get you through the midnight hour and you will have persistence. She persisted. She stood the test. She stood the test and she went through. And if you have enough persistence, it will get you through the darkest nights. It'll get you through when no one will give you the time of day, when it just doesn't seem to be working. Charlie Tremendous Jones, another guy I love. He's passed on now. But Charlie Tremendous Jones said, he came out in a seminar just like this, and he hollered out, nothing works. He said, this is the secret of the ages. Nothing works. As we get all these people saying, I mean, Mr. Jones, nothing's working. And he said, that's the secret. Nothing works. A tractor sitting out in the field. Is it working? Just sitting there? The only way it's going to work is if we work. Jimmy's probably going to talk today. He's going to talk a little bit about Instagram. He's going to tell you some things. But he's going to tell you Instagram doesn't work. Unless he works it. It's a tool. You find a tool in a toolbox. You're a plumber. If we didn't have that plunger this morning, I'm certain we could have got you a coat hanger and figured it out. But you're a plumber, so you know how to use tools. But a tool in your toolbox that just sits there isn't going to do anything. Nothing works. A funnel. We built a funnel. We built the nicest looking funnel. But it just sits there. We don't tell anybody about it. We're not working it. And we're not marketing, paying for advertising, doing the things, talking to you. I mean, Beth and I, when we started talking about this, she had this house, this beautiful house, and we just talked about it. And if we would have put that funnel together and we would have talked about it, and we would have kept talking about it, and kept masterminding on it, and kept talking about it, but we never told you, we never offered it to anybody, nobody would be here.
I wanted to say something about that.
Sure.
A story that you mentioned about from Think and Grow Rich and the little girl and Mama needs 50 cents. That's I mean, it's a powerful story, and I'm just thinking about how much more even powerful it is that I don't know if it was just those two people in that situation or if somebody else was there and saw that it was either one of them two people that allowed that story to even be heard today.
There's a guy named R.U. Darby.
Was he there? I mean, I don't know. I'm just
His uncle owned the plantation, and he was there, and he witnessed it.
okay.
Because prior to that, R.U. Darby went out to. I always ask it a question to people. Are you Darby? Because R.U. Darby had found a gold mine out in Colorado. This prior to this event, and he and his buddy went out to the Colorado gold mine, or to find gold. They went out prospecting. Think about that. Think about the word prospecting, guys, because that's what we're going to be doing when we build a funnel. We're going to be prospecting, trying to get the right people, just like the corn, offering that corn to the right animal, to the right entity, to the right audience. Because your audience is going to be different than mine, Aaron. Noah's audience may be different than mine. Maybe similar in some aspects, but Beth reaches people that I will never reach. But the beautiful thing about this is as you guys go back into your corners of your world to your people, we're going to hopefully get some corn that we're going to put in your bag this weekend. And then when you go back, and you can spread that corn out to the people that are in the right food. You're going to take the right food from here, take it back to your animals or people, and be able to feed them out of your hand. But prospecting, think of the word prospecting. When you think about prospecting, you think about cold calling, you think about talking on the phone, all that. Think about gold prospecting. When they actually went to prospect, before the car, before the Explorer, before the Cadillac Escalade to drive across country, you're in a wagon. Think about going across the country from New Jersey all the way out to Colorado. You know how far it takes you to drive it. What about if you got two mules in front of you in your wagon and you got to go across the country? You lose friends, you lose loved ones, you lose time, like 6 months to get out. Think of a text message that we used to send in the mail. But back then, it took months to get a message back from this. So they went out to prospect. They found gold. They struck it rich. It was a vein of gold like they'd never seen before. They got so excited. They said, whoa. They covered up the mine. They went back home. So it took them a year. It took 6 months to get out there, 6 months to get back. They told him, Cedric, Heidi, Noah, you're not going to believe this, Aaron. We found a gold mine. We found a gold mine. And all I need is $200 from you, $200 from you, $200 from you, $200 from you, and we can get this gold mine going. Oh, because we just need the equipment, man. You've never seen anything like it. It's going to blow your mind. They're all family. So they all say, well, I think I can come up with $200. So all right, yeah, here's my 200. Here you go. That's mine. And they all put in their $200. So R.U. Darby goes back another 6 months. So it's a year and a half going back out there. Gets back out there, buys equipment for the gold mining, for the mining of the gold. And they dig this, they start digging. They dig on it. And they find a gold, vein of gold. Man, they're just pulling up shiny cars of this stuff. And they're just so excited. They bring this thing up. And then guess what happened? The vein of gold stopped. And they dug on, they dug on, they dug on, they dug on, they dug on. They drilled down with the drills, up with the hopes. Because they figured, oh, another couple cars of this stuff. That'll pay off the debts. I gotta pay Heidi back. I gotta pay Cedric back. I gotta pay Noah back. I gotta pay Aaron back. And they didn't. They couldn't pay him back. Because they couldn't find it. So they dug on. And they said, forget it. Toss it up. It's done. Over. Quit. Most of the time we quit when things don't don't seem to be working out. Our vision isn't big enough. A vision's gotta be big. You gotta make your vision so big that other people can get into it with you. Their vision wasn't that big. Their vision wasn't all that great. And so with the make your vision big enough so others can fit into it too. Because people make your dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. Well, when they couldn't find it, they sold the equipment to a junk man for a few $100s. The junk man didn't know anything about prospecting for gold or digging for gold. But he did know something about seeking expert counsel before giving up. So he hires a surveyor to come in and survey the land. After R.U. Darby left, trekked another 6 months. So he's got 2 years and some months wasted of his life in this gold mine that just wasn't going to work. They sold me a frickin' bill of goods on that gold mine. Bought it, didn't get it. So he goes back to New Jersey. The head between his legs and tail and all that. Oh, sorry, Noah. Sorry, Ivy. Sorry, Cedric. We lost your money. So he's humiliated. Junkman, though, brings in this surveyor. The surveyor realizes that they just didn't know fault lines. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, it highlighted the word fault lines. I'm like, and I thought, look at that. You know how we say, whose fault is it? We usually say it's somebody else's fault. We pass the buck. We don't take responsibility. We don't take responsibility for our own life and our own time. So we pass the buck. They passed the buck to a junk man. They gave up their fault. They gave up their responsibility. They gave up their right. The junk man, the surveyor says, if they would have just kept digging, if they would have hired me, sometimes getting expert counsel before you give up, they were here. Literally, the vein of gold was here. They kept digging. Here. 3 feet. 3 feet.
Let's go back.
I'll take a ride.
3 feet from gold, guys. Richest gold mine in Colorado. The junk man sold his junk business. He got into the gold business. Made him a millionaire overnight. Most of our ability, guys, is our quitability.
It's a big one. It's a writer downer.
Most of our ability
It's a
is
drop.
our
It's a
quitability.
mic drop right there.
Taller you're building, the deeper the foundation. You want to build a skyscraper, you're going to have to dig. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper.
I'm gonna say most people's ability, not the people in this room. Go ahead.
I got a quick story about, because I don't know if you're going to talk about it. Sharon Lecter wrote this book called
3 feet
and
from gold.
Yeah, 3 feet from gold. And she is the co-writer. She may have been the main writer, actually, with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I was at an event, and she was one of the speakers, and she had just finished her talk, and she had her book, and I forgot exactly what she said. I think I was in the front row. She said something about her book, but it was like she was giving the invitation for somebody to come and get the book. So I was like, you know what? She's putting it out there. So I kind of ran up there to get the book, and I got it. And this other person was just a little. They were 3 feet from gold. Anyway,
Go for it. Cedric, you gotta go for
it's
it.
a good book too.
That book she wrote from Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah.
And she just took some of the principles from Think and Grow Rich and regurgitated things, and she put it in a book. So that's what she got.
That's the
That
whole
3 feet
premise
from.
of taking something and then recreating it, spinning it, and making it ours.
Purpose to repurpose, guys. Purpose to repurpose.
John, I have a question.
I have an answer. Let's hope they match.
After this, at some point, can we go over what is the agenda of what, or is, the structure, just so I can understand, what it is that we're gonna be doing hands-on, just kinda,
Yeah, the next 2 days, the next
Yeah,
2 days,
just
we're gonna
an
be doing
agenda.
more on hands-on stuff. This is big. We just get our mindsets
Yeah.
right and
No, I
get ready
get
to do
that.
the work, so.
and then after which, your support of what we can expect the next 3 months.
We're gonna do, every week for the next 4 weeks after this event, is we're gonna have a group coaching session, and it's gonna start on Monday, not this coming Monday, but following Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna do a week coaching, weekly,
8 or 6, wait,
7 p.m. Central Standard Time,
it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
California, it'll be 5. Those sessions will be recorded as well. So, and then you're all, after this event, you're also going to get an email that will have a password that you will have access to the backside of $1,000,000retreat.com. So when we upload these videos that I'm recording right now, you will have access to those as well. So every session that we do, we may not record a game that we play at night,
right.
but every session that we're doing, those are going to be recorded. So this today, you're going to meet Jimmy. Jimmy's going to be talking here on the Instagram thing. And I just thought it worked out very well that he's here and he decided to come over because it just kind of ties in with following and traffic and stuff like that. So he's going to be talking a little bit about that. Then at 4 o'clock today, my business partner from Spain is going to get online with us on a Zoom call. He'll be back with us on Saturday. See, he's 7 hours ahead of us. So it'll be 11 o'clock for his time. So he'll be on a Zoom call with us at about 4 o'clock our time.
So it says 3 months weekly. We're not doing 3 months?
Yes, 3 months, sorry.
Not 1 month.
Yeah,
Oh,
3 months. So
okay.
my head was
No,
off for
I'm just
that.
asking just so I can.
Yep,
remember.
everything you see on there, we're gonna be covering here. And the framework to famework, is I'm going to get you guys all a sheet on that too as well. So and then you're also gonna get some other nice freebies. So,
Cool.
but today it's just gonna be, you're gonna listen to me breathe for a minute. Because I've been biting at the bit to see you all and speak into your life. And I hope that's okay. So.
Well, he does a lot of reels.
Jim?
He has multiple Instagram accounts. So. The one he does is called World in Gram. World in Instagram. Is that what that's for? And it's, he's going to get, I won't steal any of his thunder. And I'm certain Beth is going to be with us as well. She probably has some powerful things to share. So.
I wanted to put a slight addendum on the story I told about my incident with Sharon Lecter. I had this is kind of like how I see it as life gives opportunities, and is that when I kind of ran up there and got the book, I didn't even see the other person. I didn't see that they were going up there to get the book also. And so the reason I mention it is because life can give us opportunities, and then if we're not taking action, sometimes that opportunity can go past us, and it's almost like it's given or made available for someone else.
Perfect story. My wife and I were sitting on our couch one day, and we saw all the realty signs. This was probably, I can't remember the exact date, but we were sitting there and we were talking about, there's a service called For Sale by Owner. And it was formed by a couple women in Ankeny, Iowa. Now they sold off the company, but they started it. 6 months after we said it wouldn't work. So, well, that just don't make sense, you know, for sale by owner. Who would, for sale by owner, why would they sign up for a service if they're wanting to sell it by themselves and all that? Because of the advertising, the power of advertising and all that. So they got them to pay them $495 to sell your home. Well, you pay me $495. Well, if I can get 100 people this year to pay me $495, it's a nice chunk of change there. So they started this business, and they started offering franchises, and they sold them. But it was 6 months to the day that it started that we started seeing this for sale by owner thing. So we're like, that'd be great if people. And then we also started to think about, even before Netflix, I said, you know, because my wife and I we don't have any children, so we're movie buffs. I'm like, I got so sick and tired of going to Blockbuster. I remember the days of the VCR and going to get the rental tape and all that. I said, wouldn't it be great if, you know, if they could just come out with a service where I can just push a button and order the movie and all that. Why didn't I do it? Because it wouldn't work. I.e. Netflix, and enter Netflix, and you know, I don't agree with, I don't like everything on Netflix, but it's there. And then now we got Amazon Prime, and now we got Hulu, but it wouldn't work. Sir Edgar Hillary climbed Mount Everest. Took him 5 attempts. How many people were up there before him? None. Wouldn't work. It's crazy. Why would you want to climb Mount Everest? That's never been done before. It'll never happen. He did it in 5 attempts. Now he lost team members. Some people got their foot amputated because of frostbite and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of treachery, but he did it. First man to ascend it. How many have been up since? Hundreds. So every time we say it won't work, it can't be done. Remember, somebody will interrupt you who just did it. So, just because you don't think it can be done. So, what time is it?
It is
12.
2:13.
In your book, in your little booklet there is a page.
There's also something about Netflix that is like a lesson too, is that because Netflix actually started out as, and some people probably remember this, they were doing like mailing videos out.
Yep, I remember that.
Now, you think about Blockbuster and what Netflix actually did that Blockbuster could have done. Netflix, somebody at Netflix saw, okay, well, you know, the mail things kind of seem like it's going in a different direction. We'll do this online thing. And so they pivoted, and that's working out really well for them. But Blockbuster, you know, that's like an ancient history. So anyway.
In this, I included, in Jim Rohn, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. And then reasons come first. Answers come second. And if the why is big enough, then the how won't matter. And I wanted to play that at the introduction because that story with the Girl Scout cookies. How many times have we been in a grocery store, we had to put something back because we just didn't quite have enough to finish it up?
Mm-hmm.
Or how many times have you seen somebody that I do the grocery shopping in the house, and so a lot of times, and I utilize places like Aldi's and stuff like that, because I think they have the better vegetables anyway, Aldi's, but they're, I go in there, and every once in a while, I get the luxury of buying somebody's groceries. My mom, for years, she had 10 kids. She was on welfare and food stamps. And they only give you so much back. And she worked for 9 years, though, out of my 18 years at a daycare. She was a manager of a daycare. Now, none of her kids were allowed. I think she left the zoo animals at home, but there would be times I was with her in a grocery store, and I remember her putting things back. It's not like the grocery store still needed them. She had them in the cart, but she's asking for price checks and stuff. Well, how much is that? How much is that? How much is that? And she's counting her pennies. So I like to be in a position now of buying somebody's groceries. If I see somebody like they're right in front of me in the checkout, and they're doing that, putting that bag, or they get to the end and one gal's card was declined. It's at the grocery store. The manager's not coming to her aid. The store don't come to her aid. And everybody, even in the store, just around me, they're looking at her like, hurry it up, I gotta get this, roast is in the oven, come on. I'm like, here, put it on this card. She said, I don't know if my card's not clearing. I said, my card will clear. Put it on that card. The whole thing. Whether it's $20 or $300. Not so much for what it does for them, but for what it does for me. The ability to be able to give out to somebody. But there have been times I wasn't in that position. Now, I can't go buy somebody a Mercedes. If they go into a Mercedes plant and they say, I can't afford the Mercedes plant, you shouldn't be in a Mercedes plant. You shouldn't be in the dealership. But I love being able to do little things like that because there was so long, 5 years of my life, from 2005 to 2014, I wasn't able to do that. I lost everything. Because I didn't have enough reasons.
So you weren't in a position of you get a Mercedes, you get a Mercedes, you get a Mercedes.
No, I wasn't in that position. I'd love to be in that position. I'd love to be in that position. I have a friend. If a church needs money, he writes a check. He's in a wonderful position. When somebody is in need, I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could just take everything that we saw, Noah, over in Austin or wherever we were heading over there to the Walmart, and all those people, wouldn't it be great if we had a facility to put them in or just a way to get them off of the street, clean up just go in there and clean it up. Yeah. At least get them better tents or something. You know, just surprise them all and just put a bunch of tents out there or something to be able to do something about
Get
stuff.
them a home.
You know, give them a home, to be in a position to do that. To be in a position to do that. So it is better, we should have a desire to be richer than we are. So, without reasons, you're going to continually do incredibly insane things, though. Like staying stuck in the prison of provision. So if you're going to do incredible things, you might as well do incredible things with a bunch of reasons to get you out of bed in the morning. I heard Grant Cardone say to get to the top, you're going to have to do some crazy stuff. But to remain at the bottom, you're going to be forced to do crazy stuff. So, what I'd like to do is take a break. And there's a page in that little booklet that has, at the top, it says, answer these questions. Why? Make the why big. Make your soul sing. Why?
How long is the break for?
It's going to be till 3 o'clock. you to go find a place and answer those questions. Answer the why. Why not? Why not you?
Why not me?
Why not now?
Why not now?
Let's go.
And then answer the 6 questions down at the bottom of that page as well.
What page is it?
It's there's not a page number. It's got answer these questions at the top of the page.
Oh, okay. What, now,
It's in your book.
what was that Grant Cardone quote again?
Grant Cardone said, if you want to get to the top, you're going to have to do some crazy stuff. But to remain at the bottom, you're going to be forced to do crazy stuff. We do crazy stuff anyway. Crazy stuff. We worked for Pollution for 40 years to make $1,000 a week. And that's before taxes. I know people that make $20 an hour, and they call it good money. It's $800 a week. After taxes, it's McDonald's is looking pretty attractive. At least you get 50% off meals.
What kind of meals though?
Well, they're all man-made. They're all man-made. McDonald's is healthy. But it's,
course
you
you
get
say that.
you get my point. So if you get enough reasons, I just, that's why I like Jim Rohn, because when he talked about the Girl Scout coming in, $2 box of cookies, I've got a bunch of Girl Scout cookies already. He lies to her. He says, because I don't have the money.
I mean, that's a good point
That's amazing.
to go into Noah's heart and mission is a lot of people will not level up to eat healthy because they don't have the money. If you hear the conversations in stores like we went into, that food's more expensive, right?
If you've been programmed to spend,
You're more expensive.
Well,
right.
however, people are stuck like Jim Rohn, who doesn't have the money. And so if you don't have the money, you settle for what you can.
People are going to McDonald's
And that's
because
the
there's a
problem.
value.
We have to stop settling in life. People settle so much. We've settled for the wrong relationships because we don't think there's something better ahead, you know? We settle all the time because we don't love ourselves enough. And I think if we love ourselves enough, we're not going to settle for things that are less than what we really are aligned with what we want.
But
The
our
problem is we don't always align with.
That's easy for us to say right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Could I have said that 20 years ago? Could I have said that 30 years ago? No, and there's the world, most of the world, humanity is stuck.
Right.
And it's not that they want to level up, however they don't have the resources or people to shift yet. And so, I mean, I do think more people would eat healthier. However, it's not about that, just eating healthier, it's about the heart going, about the shift in healthcare.
It's about when you have to be ready mentally and emotionally.
And I have a question too, so